सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तपोभिक्षीणपापानां शान्तानां वीतरागिणां मुमुक्षूणामपेक्षोऽयम् आत्मबोधो विधीयते। Till the 8th shloka that we have seen. 9th shloka, repeat after me. saccidātmanyanusyūte saccidātmanyanusyūte. So the word there is saccidātmani anusyūte. So let us try it. They say the third time is the charm. Saccidātmanyanusyūte. Very good. Nitye viṣṇau prakalpitāḥ. Vyaktayo vividhāḥ sarvāः. hāṭake kaṭakādivat. saccidātmani anusyūte nitye viṣṇau prakalpitāḥ. Here Vishnu is not to be understood as the Chaturbhuja Rupa, Neela Megha Shyama, but it is with the definition of sarvā vyāpakatva. The other day in Hanuman Chalisa Yajna I had asked, Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam. So there, what is that shloka describing? All of them immediately jumped and said it is about Vishnu. Why? Because there is the name Vishnu there and Chaturbhuja is there. So definitely it has to be Vishnu. Vishnu is a concept which defines all pervasiveness of this conscious principle. There that shloka is talking about Bhagavan Ganesha. Saccidātmani, in that Satchit Atma, which is Vishnu, which is all pervasive, viṣṇau, in Vishnu, prakalpitāḥ. So the key word here is prakalpitāḥ, as though, as if imposed. Now the imposition, that word, especially when we are growing up, imposition has a different meaning. Imposition is usually a punishment given where you are expected to repeat one word that you have spelled wrong several times. The idea there is that the right spelling is imposed on your mind by that repetition. It has got nothing to do with punishment. The idea there also is to impress upon the mind of this new correct spelling. Prakalpitāḥ saccidātmani, on that Sat Chit Atma, which is of all pervasive nature, which is also called as viṣṇau, it is by nature eternal. Eternal meaning that which does not have a limit of time. All pervasiveness, that which does not be limited by space. Meaning, effectively, that which is beyond the realm of time and space. Time and space is a concept that comes only when the mind is awake. Isn't it? Wherever there is mind, time and space, and the relevance for it is experienced. When the mind is completely absorbed in deep sleep, what happens to the concept of time and space? Because that which is projecting this time and space is absent, but then our confusion comes, though my mind is absorbed in that sleep, I am sleeping. But time and space still exists, there are people, but from what reference? Not from your point of reference. From your point of reference, that time and space is null and void. The experience, if that were true, that time and space is continuing, then all that the parents have to do is, when you are sleeping, bring all the food, all the good things, and then do pranaya swaha, panaya swaha, vyana swaha, dana swaha, samana swaha, brahmane swaha. Oh, I am hungry. You are already been fed. No, that time it is my hunger from my standpoint. Acha, a double standard. So from your standpoint, when that mind is absorbed in deep sleep, neither there is time nor there is space. Time is calculated in terms of space, space is calculated in terms of time. Especially in a city like Hyderabad, when they say, how far do you live from the ashram? It's a wrong question. How much time does it take to reach your home? That also is a variable depending upon what time of the day you want to reach there. Most of you, if you have used a vehicle, you must have reached here within 20 minutes, 15 minutes. But during the peak time, the rush hour, God only knows. Where there is a traffic jam, where there is minor accidents or things like that, and the backup and the backlog And by the time you reach, and there have been times wherein to go 1.5 kilometers, it has taken 4 hours for me. I think the first time or the second time I was at Kailash Manasarovar, the traffic was so backed up, it took us 2 days to get out of the traffic jam. 2 days there was no movement in the traffic. That's very unusual, right? 2 days. The space that is travelled is maybe, but it is calculated in how much time does it take. So they are two sides of the same coin, but it is available only when their mind is available. See, when the mind is absorbed into something which is very interesting for that mind, hours pass by and it feels like kshanikam. And if there is a boring Vedantic lecture, a very abstract concept, people start looking into their watches. Sometimes they look at the wall clock wherever it is, specifically so when the speaker is going extra. Everybody, every few seconds, they will turn their heads. I don't need to have a watch. Just looking at the percentage of heads turning towards the wall clock, I should know that. If you are with somebody that you love and you just started and it's already in the morning. Whole night you have been speaking. And that way the mind is not engaged, it seems like eternity. So this conscious principle is beyond time and space. Within that time and space is the nama rupa. Therefore, whether it is in Vishnu Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama, or even in our Guru Stotra, we say Bindu Nada Kala Titaha. Nada and Kala are the time and space. They converge at that point of experience. That gives it a sense of reality. And that sense of reality, what we think real, is being projected onto that substratum which is eternal and not bound by time or space. So much is the reality that is given to that which is prakalpitāḥ, that which is superimposed, that it appears like a sea of multitude. Vyaktayo, vividhāḥ, sarvā. All these that which are projected are the upadhi, and that upadhi is something which is superimposed, and it seemingly absorbs the quality or the nature, and we give it a sense of reality. And to that sense of reality, we are so associated or interconnected that anything said or done to that which I am associated with, if it is good, I feel happy. If it is bad, I feel saddened. See, the culmination of all these identities these various upadhis, mana, buddhi, chitta, takes a shape. And that cumulative shape is called ahankara. To talk this in the modern language, I would say the analog input, when digitized in my mind, that image of me, physically I am tall, I am short, I am thin, I am fat, I am lazy, I am athletic, I am sharp, I am usually sharp, but today I am a little groggy. All these attributes of the mana, buddhi, chitta, sharira are assumed, including the chitta. All these are the upadhis, but I have given it a sense of reality. How? Hāṭake kaṭakādivat. Hāṭaka means gold. Okay, for this example to be understood, let me ask a very, very trivial, simple question. A sharp pointed knife, is it good or bad? Some said good, some said bad, some said both. I would say none of the above. Because your sense of it being assumed as good or assumed as bad changes my question. You cannot change my question paper to accommodate your answers. You focused on the good and bad aspect of it, but the question was asking about the sharp pointed knife. By the Vastu Swarupa, it is neither good nor bad. The moment you add the goodness and badness, you are not talking about the knife, you are talking about the intention of the one that is holding it. If it is in the hands of the loving mother as the Annapurna Devi, it is good. Good meals will come out of it. If it is in the hands of mother in the BK Avatara, Bhadrakali Avatara, it depends. It may turn bad. But the Vastu itself is neither good nor bad. Am I getting across? But the moment the question about the knife was asked, it is a very generic norm that we have lived with, is we speak about the intentions. And those intentions are prakalpitāḥ. Isn't it? They are the projected reality for which we have given the sense of reality. Now the gold, a businessman made it big and was a great devotee of, say, Bhagavan Rama. So he had the entire Ram Darbar in his puja altar made out of gold. So there is the altar, and in the altar there is the asana, which is made as a simhasana with a golden umbrella, and in that is seated Bhagavan Rama, Sita, Bharata, Lakshmana, Shatrughna, all of those in the back, Hanumanji in the front, his gada, and each one of them having astra shastra. One of them is holding the chamara. So it's like an elaborate Ram Darbar or Ram Parivar that is there in the altar. So the business investment went bad. See, once you make it big and it goes into the superficial currency called stock, पलक झपते ही कुछ भी हो सकता है. And suddenly things, the tide went against you and the assumed value suddenly crashed. Everything was devastated. So for the immediate necessities, so he took the umbrella, the chamara, went to the goldsmith, and he gave, what will he view it as? The value of gold. He looked at it, he said, it was a good sample of 22 carat. It was pure 24 carat, it is difficult to make, it is very feeble. So to add a little strength, some silver is added. So it is now 22 carat. The value of that 22 carat, there is the money given. One by one, for the sustenance, he had to sell. Now when it finally came down to Rama, he says, "Bhai, dekh ke do. ये राम जी है." What will the goldsmith dekofy there? Is it your projected reality or the vastu reality? Essentially, vastu swarupatah, each one of us expressing in these many differences is nothing but that all-pervasive eternal principle. But then depending on the closeness of the upadhis that which we have assumed ourselves to be several limitations, giving it the sense of reality. And then this pure gold has to be now validated. Whether it is in a form, whether it is in Rama form, whether it is in a coin form, whether it is in a bar form, whether it is chhatra, chamara, whatever it is, has the value of gold changed? But then when we interact in this world, the value of this saccidātmani, the sat and chit, what have we equated to? Predominantly the physical level. Is this physical level accepted by the world or not accepted by the world? If it is accepted, then I feel gratified. So what is happening inside? From the physical level, all the attributes, from the emotional level, all the attributes, good, bad, ugly, all of them. The intellectual level, all the attributes, the memory, all the attributes, the imagination or the projections of the future, all those attributes, I make a mass of it. Supposing the size and the shape of me from inside as to how I evaluate it is of this size. Just for imagination. इससे भी बड़ा हो सकता है, इससे भी छोटा हो सकता है. Self-worth. When I go interact with the world outside, the Sat and Chit aspects are long forgotten. What is it that we have given reality to? This conglomerate shape of me, I project it into the world. While I project it into the world, I am being very, very careful. How careful? It was an overhearing. Somebody was taking a photo of the group and said, wait. If you're going to stand in that angle, let me change my side. I said, why? From the other side, my profile looks sharp. Even in that photo of this assumed reality, up to how it gets projected, it has to be in that angle, not in this angle. So I project by most of the things that which should not be displayed. I try to filter it and project all the amazing looking aspects. See, when a relationship starts, marriage happens, the usual complaint is, you are not the same as you were then. How can going on? At that time you had projected weeding out all those which should not be perceived, seen or experienced. But as the time passes by, those that which you are trying to hide keep creeping out. That is why Gurudev used to say, love is not because of, but in spite of. But then that key concept is forgotten. All that which was hidden, that starts coming out. So when I project and the shape of me is of this size, and the outside world looks at me as is, I'm okay with that environment. If the outside world sees me and its projection or idea of me is little bigger than what I have thought myself to be and projected, gratification. So far there is no problem. Where does the problem come? Because the world that we are interacting with is not dumb. Whatever we are trying to hide, even if there is a slight glimpse of it, traces of it, we are ready to assume the worst. And if the world perceives all of that and its projection of me is smaller size than what I think of me, then immediately there is something. Kuch hota hai. Something that which pricks, something that which hurts, something that which feels belittled, something that which feels low. Something that which feels so agitated, and that continued agitated, there doesn't seems to be a way out of getting out of it. When you stay almost perennially in that kind of an environment, clinically you are declared as depressed. But what is happening here? It is this image of something which is of a upadhi, which I have given a reality to. I want now forcefully the world to accept how I am projecting it as. That which you have assumed itself is a wrong identity. That itself is one papa. And then on the top of it, you are trying to force the entire environment that which you constantly interact with. What does Obama think of you or Modi think of you? Doesn't matter. Because in their purview, You exist not. That which you are interacting with on a consistent basis, now you try thrusting your projected reality and you want them to accept it, validate it, appreciate it, massage it, so that you feel good out of that thrusting. That is the end result that you want. These are the mind games that which we play, and this sense of becoming is called being caught up in samsara, bhavasagara. All of this āpādita prakalpitāḥ. In order to break this shackle, we don't have to break the body, break the mind, break the intellect. See, the all-pervasive space which is everywhere is in this hall, is there outside. But if I have to prove to you that this space here and that space here is one and the same, it is just that a decade ago or few decades ago these four walls were constructed, and now I call this as the kutia, and the outside space is distinctly different than this inside space. To prove the oneness, do I have to break the walls? To prove that all the ornaments are gold in its essential nature, do I have to put it through the process where it is all liquefied and then solidified into a mass of gold? No. A simple verification test. You go to a goldsmith, what do they do? Even if it has some kind of, you have not maintained it, you have not cleaned it, you have not upkept the gold, it has some shade of it on the top. Though it is very difficult to oxidize gold. But if you manage to do that also, the goldsmith doesn't bother about all of that. He will do his tests and he will say, Acha, this seems to be of this quality, and based on that quality it would be evaluated as gold. So 80, 90, 95% of our problem is because of the wrong identity and that identity to be projected, prakalpitāḥ. Now the game is in samsara, how much of what I project is conveniently being accepted by the world. The more the acceptance, the more the joy. The less the acceptance, the more there is dejection. So there is the constant force of this, that which is not real, identified. I have given it a sense of reality. If I have to be liberated from all this nonsense, all that I have to do is remove that wrong sense of identity by identifying what is my true nature. But most of us are geared in trying to make our mind and the equipment smart, street smart, over smart. Parents, when they bring their kids to Balavihar, have asked me, Swamiji, my child is not that street smart. कुछ कीजिए ना. मतलब क्या चाहते हो? Because the parent is coming from a survival aspect. So the identity and the boost of that identity and then polishing of that identity and the ability to present that identity in an acceptable format so that this fellow feels smart. And how conveniently he convinces the world around street smart. Who do we call successful? What are our standards? Isn't it these kinds of people that we call as smart? Successful? Accomplished? That standard of living is being a samsari. It does not matter whether you are a brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi. This kind of wrong identity and assumed projection. Recently I went to a conference, supposed to be a sannyasi. But to that sannyasa name, there is a doctorate added. Swami such and such, PhD. Then what have you given up? Does it really matter? Isn't it the same identity continued forward in a different color? Isn't that being a samsari? और द कंपैरेटिव नोट्स, स्वामी जी आपके कितने भक्त हैं? आपके कितने भगत लोग होते हैं? So when you go to Kumbh Mela or things and you meet other Mahatmas, after Namaskar Chamatkar is done, आप कौन महात्मा हो? कितने भक्त हैं? कितने आश्रम हैं? Isn't it the same kind of stupidity continued? Am I getting across? It doesn't matter where you are. If the mindset is the wrong identity and the wrong identity glorified, projected, thrusted and expected it to be conveniently passed through, I'm still trying to live the same samsaric life. Hāṭake, it reminds me of another word in Hindi. If you have to have the courage of being a spiritual, हटके होना चाहिए. हटके मतलब to have the courage to rip open this identity. When I say rip open the identity, the body is not being morphed, the mind is not being morphed, the intellect, they will still function as is. You may sharpen it, you may keep it healthy. See, now that I am recovering from surgery, I am not. Otherwise, in the mornings I love to jog. स्वामी लोगों को करने की क्या जरूरत है? The body to be in optimal shape so that it can be used to the best. Nothing wrong. the identity of it and the projection of it and the glory of it at that level, that is where we get lost. It is not the name and form, it is not the glory of the name and form. The glory exists only because that conscious principle is enabling it, enlivening it, and that is the only reality. And that is the only reality which is my true nature. That alone is the substratum. So what is sadhana? Sadhana, yes, in the beginning stages of practice, to isolate yourself so that you can disidentify with your body, mind and intellect and abide in that. But that is also a limitation in time and space. To be able to bring that true self in and through wherever you are. If somebody says, I am a good driver in a parking lot, that means in the traffic they are a mess. When do you consider a person a good driver? That in spite of Hyderabad traffic, you drive through, weave through, without denting anybody, without getting dented by anybody. Safe, efficient, effective. Isn't it? If you keep saying that I am a good driver because I have practiced in the parking lot, कब तक parking lot में लटके रहोगे? Most of our sadhana that we say is sadhana is a parking lot sadhana. Isn't it? Because when we come back to the traffic, Ashtottara Shatanamavali keeps coming. Om Murkhaya Namaha. Om Vishishta Murkhaya Namaha. Om Bevkufaya Namaha. It is not you that has to be scolded. It is the fellow that has given you the license. All kinds. And then come back in the parking lot. Is that called being a good driver? Now when I am sitting for sadhana to create this tādatmyata that I have with sharira, mana, buddhi and the ahankara, to reduce it, evaporate it, so that when I am in the actual traffic of life, I can be the one that is providing solace. What is the motto of Chinmaya Mission? To give maximum happiness to the maximum number for the maximum time. How can I be that source of joy, happiness and contentment to others if मेरी झोली खाली है? See, many of us love to do seva. Where is that seva being done from what platform? Is it being done from the platform of a parking lot sadhana, or is it being done from the balanced internal experience, and that balance is being brought as a solace? Which has more contentment in it? The other is a feel-good factor. In the name of seva, it is only a feel-good factor. But the moment I abide in that balance within, rooted in the core of my being, and then go out, the effect of it is complete even to the one that is receiving it. But if it is a check mark of one of the activities, I don't think we are doing justice to the world or to ourselves. Because even sadhana has become a check mark for us. Savere uthe, freshen up, sit down in front of Bhagavan, smoke him out, dhupati naivedya. Now I feel good. It is not for that sense that sadhana has to be done. Atmabodha done, next another text will be done, next another text will be done. So when somebody came to Gurudev saying, Swamiji, today I have finished Bhagavad Gita 18th time. So Gurudev immediately quipped, it seems, has Gita gone through you even once? You may have gone through Gita 18 times. It means stop being a parking lot driver. Now, when I say stop being a parking lot driver, it doesn't mean you neglect practicing in the parking lot. It is to be rightly understood. Learn to be efficient here so that when you go out, you are safe, efficient and effective. Otherwise, we being the representatives of sadhana, sadhakatva and Vedanta, we will only hear when we lose our balance and get angry, when we show the inside nature out. What will the world say to dismiss? What? This is what Vedanta you have learnt. Done. We fall flat. So where is it all beginning? These upadhis are borrowing their sense of reality from me. Me the conscious principle, me the existential principle, that which is eternal, that which is all pervasive. And the another amazing aspect is the outside interaction you cannot stop either. Because the force of vasana and prarabdha will drag these instruments out. But when will we have that sophisticated freedom where we can say guna guneshu vartante? Let it interact, but from this swachandata, that though I am interacting, I will not be impacted by it. That awareful being is called Atmabodha. Otherwise, we are lost in samsara. Yathākāśo hṛṣīkeśo nānopādhigato vibhuḥ tadbhedādbhinnavadbhāti tadbhedādbhinnavadbhāti tannāśe kevalo bhavet yathākāśah hṛṣīkeśo. One beautiful thing that Adi Shankaracharya is doing is he is taking all these saguna sakara names to say essentially it is that indivisible principle alone which we are worshipping in these many different names. In the 8th shloka we said Parameshwari. In the last shloka he said viṣṇau. In this shloka he is saying hṛṣīkeśo. Now this word hṛṣīkeśo, it has several meanings. We have to take what is appropriate here. This is certainly not a beauty tip class, so therefore the definition hṛṣīkeśo doesn't apply. Keshaha means hair. Hṛṣī meaning that which is long, healthy, dark, curly hair, which Bhagavan Krishna had. It is not about that. Then what is the other meaning? Of the several other meanings, one that which is aptly fits here. Hṛṣīka īṣah. Hṛṣīka indriyāni tāni sarvāni niyamya īṣitvam. The one who is a controller of all the organs and organs of perception and action. When I say controller, it doesn't mean like it's being held. Controller meaning that because of which all these get enlivened, without which it is a dead carcass. That enlivening principle. See, that because of whose presence I am able to speak. See, we are giving value to that which is being spoken, but the focus should be that because of which this speech is happening, that because of which the hearing is happening, that because of whose presence understanding is happening. This entire discussion is to turn our attention from all these different processes to that one, because of who, because of which all this can happen. hṛṣīka īṣah. yathākāśo hṛṣīkeśah nānopādhigato vibhuḥ. Another beautiful word. In the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, what is the name of that chapter? Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga. Now in that Vishwarupa Sandarshana, he is showing all the different vibhutis. Not vibhuti. Vibhuti in Telugu means bhasma. Vibhuti. Because he is vibhu. What does vibhu mean? Vividhākare vividha vyakta swarupe bhavati yaha saha. That who is the only principle, that which is expressing in various different kinds of formats. And this oneness is shown in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And that is called Vibhuti Yoga. the various kinds stemming forth from one, and that one expressing in various formats. 10th and 11th chapter. The oneness is shown in the 10th, and expressing in multitude is shown in 11th. All the diversity merges back into that one. Just because the collective mass of all waves put together is called an ocean, the samashti, that mass is called ocean. A little droplet that when the water, that mass water hits the boat or hits the rock, separates itself for that tiny little bit of time. It feels small, it feels puny, it feels insignificant. Whether in that large mass of samashti called ocean or in that tiny existence called a droplet, have they ceased to be water at any point of time? So does the size matter? Does the different shapes and forms, do they matter? But where is our focus? What is the actual bigger than the biggest? Brihatvat Brahman. Bigger than the biggest. We also sing that Guru Mahima, Guru Mahima. There in one of the sentences it is Anoraniyan Guru Mahima, Mahato Mahiyan Guru Mahima. Whether it is in the Anu form or in the Mahat form, the essence of it is the same. It has not become Anu, it has not become Mahat. But our focus is constantly. This is also limitation, that is also limitation. The essence is the only one that is unlimited. And that unlimited Purnatvam, Purnamadaha, Purnamidam, Purnat Purnamudachyate. Whether it is the Aham Padartha, whether it is the Idam Padartha, both of them essentially by nature is nothing but Purna alone. How can that which appears to be limited, you can call it Purnam? Because all of this has expressed from Purnatva. That which has come from Purnatva, there can never be Apurnatva. If there is a seeming experience of Apurnatva, it is only a projected reality and not a factual reality. You add anything to infinity, mathematics. 100 plus infinity equals it is infinity only. You subtract anything from infinity, it still remains infinite. But my focus is not there. That which you have subtracted, the question is, can it be a finite? Because mathematically, if you are able to subtract finitude from infinite, then that which you have assumed as infinite was never infinite to begin with. Therefore, Purnasya Purnam Adaya, that which you see as the expression, can only be Purna, and the Apurnatva that which we are experiencing is because of the Upadhi that I am identifying with, and the identity is the crisis. Bheda Drishti is the crisis. See, here when we are in India, when I read the news or see the news, there is this elusive division: North Indian, South Indian. The northerners settling in southern, we are losing out our jobs to those North Indians. Whatever. As though entire South is one unit. There are Tamilians, there are Andhra, there is now Telangana, then there is Malayali, there is Kannada. Within that, are they unified? Divisive. Now they go to a far away land, away from Bharat. You look at the other person, looks seemingly Indian, there is a smile on your face. Indian? Indian. No more differences. That individualistic differences are all long gone forgotten. You Indian, me also Indian. This is my home address, this is my phone number. Kabhi aana, chai pe. The same two fellows here. Now imagine, for imaginary purposes, if there is intergalactic travel and there are other species out there, Swamiji, are there? I said, they are there and they are very intelligent. Do you want to see the proof of their intelligence? They have never visited us. They avoid us. Arre baapre, these human beings from earth, dur raho. Supposing there is that intergalactic travel, and in that intergalactic travel, in some other galaxy, you come across a two-legged fellow with one head on the shoulder. Earth? Me too. My question is, do we have to go that far to realize oneness? What kind of adamant existence is this? This is only at the human level. A much deeper level is the conscious principle. Just like in the earlier example, how we would like to envision differences and create a pride among those differences and exist as if one is greater, one is lower, one is amazing, the other is. All of this is nothing but a nuisance value. tadbhedādbhinnavadbhāti. Because of this divisiveness from inside our vision, I see multitude. Take your two fingers. Gently press. How many do you see? More than that which is. Swamiji, today is Sunday, therefore less people. Why? Now there are many. The moment the vision gets distorted, I see divisiveness. The moment the vision gets corrected, whenever there is that unifying factor, so wherever there is unifying factor that is promoted, that is called sadhana. Wherever there is a divisive nature, that is called being a samsari. Prahlada unified. Hiranyakashipu was divisive. Prahlada means ahlada, to be happy. Paranapi prakarshena ahladayati iti prahladaha. Just by his presence, he made all those students and people around happy. With his divisiveness, Hiranyakashipu was inflicting pain, misery, sorrow. If we understand Gurudev's vision to give maximum happiness, where do I have to turn towards? More towards Prahladatva or more towards Hiranyakashipatva? Divisive or oneness? I'll stop there. We'll continue tomorrow. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kasyat Dukha Bhag Bhavet Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.